Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. Out in the forest. Gonna cook today. Got a couple interesting stories I'm going to show you. The last couple days have been really interesting. Today's actually a Sunday. Not usually out on Sundays. I like going out on Friday to Saturdays. But I went out on Friday and I went out on Saturday and now I'm out on Sunday. It should be a pretty interesting story. I guess what I'm gonna do today, I'm doing something I've done before, but I deserve it. I feel like I need to actually enjoy something special for myself here. I'm making a steak sandwich with ciabatta bread. Real simple, straightforward, but absolutely delicious. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get set up. I've seen me cooking 1,000 times. I'm gonna get set up and start cooking. And meanwhile, I'm gonna take you guys back to Friday where this all started. I'm out in the 80 series again today, and what I'm doing is, well, I'm off-roading. This thing is filthy. I cleaned it before I did all the work on it, and then I cleaned it again, just spray off hose. I came out thinking, all right, I'm gonna go, finish this break-in period, get to 500 miles and all that. I'm at 2 something right now, out in the middle. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Well, I made a 100-mile loop in the dirt, and I got back to this area here, which is not too far from here, heading out over these mountains this way, about 5 miles that way, is where Niels and I had an overnight camp where we made ossobuco, and it was an awesome camp. We got visited by a mountain lion. It was really fun. But I came in from the north. I got about 75 miles around on my loop, and in the middle of nowhere, signs saying road closed due to logging traffic only. So what they did was they came in from this side and just went up a couple miles and put signs down, not realizing that when someone comes in from the other way, it's like there's no way you're turning around. It's a Friday. I didn't hear any chainsaws. They're not doing any work right now, but oh my gosh. I think it's for years I've seen these little painted stripes on the trees all over northern Arizona, and they go kind of area to area over time, and they have done some serious cutting here. huge piles of pine trees. Huge piles, like they're everywhere. And I've seen it before. But what they do then, they wait a year or two and they come back in and they burn these piles in place. So this area here is probably going to be off limits, at least for, well, at least for this summer. It needs, what happens is they kind of they don't pave the roads, they grade the roads, because they got to get in their big equipment. When I say big equipment, there's one of their tires right there. There's a tire off probably one of those things that grab the trees, or the big mechanical cutters. It's a big, you know, bulldozer type tractor tire. And with all that traffic going through here, there is silt, like bad silt all over. Look at the back of my car. It's a lot of silt. So needless to say, I'm not going to set up here, but I am hungry, and I brought a sandwich. So I'm going to eat my sandwich. Got it at the gas station when I fueled up. I was going to set up. I was going to go up there, but man, just coming in this last little bit where they've been doing all the logging, the roads, you know, they've had to redirect around some creeks. I've had some water crossings that I went through that were cool, but then when I got to the big water crossings over here, they had to make their way around, and when they did, they kind of covered up the old water crossings. So things change. I can't complain that they're actually doing proactive work in here. It helps if a fire does come through here. When they thin out these trees, it doesn't decimate the area. They can actually fight the fire better. So you can't complain when they're doing a good job like that. But the area, kind of, for me, at least for me, it'll be out of service for a while. This isn't an area that I come to all the time. I think maybe once a season I'll come out here, like one in the summer, maybe one in the winter, come out here. It's an easy loop. I did all of it just in all-wheel drive. I didn't have my center locked cruise through here. It's a really easy road. It's a nice overlanding road, and there's some really good camping spots through here. So I tend to go into the tougher areas, the steeper areas. But right now I'm gonna eat my sandwich. I'm so looking forward to just relaxing today. It's been so, as I showed you guys, the trip with the 80 was great. It's like I actually drove a lot farther than I thought I was going to, because I'd been taking it easy on that, obviously, all new parts in it. But I just took off and kept going. It's just so comfortable to drive, even long distance, and now it does a lot better on the on the open road, on the hills, as far as being able to pull its own weight with the gear change. But getting into that final area where, you know, they had cut all the trees, you know, more than cutting the trees are all the big equipment. It's just like the ground here, you can see where the very well-defined roads are, and, you know, out here, campsites, you know, the ground just looks good out there with all those big tractors. It looks like, you know, just a crazy construction zone. It's all tore up. Now, like I said, that's an area I don't usually frequent, maybe once a year, depending, because it's pretty far to get over there. I can get to the same distance to get to much bigger areas. So it's not the end of the world, but it's going to take some time for that area to heal. Today I'm trying something new, so I'm putting my standard salt and pepper on, but I'm going to try this. It's something called spicy barbecue sweet heat. So jalapeno, let's see what it says, dash of garlic, cayenne, you know, just a little bit of different flavor than just the salt and pepper. I've actually really been enjoying just having salt and pepper for the last few years. Has been really good. I think we could transition into talking about what happened yesterday. Friday was super fun. Like, it was awesome. Even though, you know, I wanted to set up and I wanted to actually show you guys that incredible sandwich I got from the gas station. It was so good. It was so good. I'm gonna have to get another one of those and do a video on that, because wow, you know, a sandwich from a gas station, like, they make them in there. I'm not saying they're just sitting there. They make them in there fresh, but really good. So it kind of sucked that I didn't really have, after all that driving, didn't have a place to set up. But yesterday was an absolute nightmare. And yesterday, on Saturday, I took the Tacoma out and I went up into the area that I showed in last video that has been basically closed down for the past couple of months because of so much snow. And the last time I was there was April 1st, you know, a month ago. And I figured the snow should all be gone. It's 80 degrees today. It's been like 75 degrees, 80 degrees. So I figured it was good to go. I was gonna take the Tacoma because it's far and it's a cool cruising vehicle. And I'll show you what happened as soon as I got there. Welcome back to the forest. I made my way up to the large Ponderosa pine area where it's been just blocked out with snow for a couple of months. There's little bits of snow like this, some up there. Then I come up here and cook a little bit. I just got, like, I don't know, a couple miles back in off the kind of the main red dirt road that comes in here. I pulled off just to see what's going on, and I think immediately I found the limitations of the Tacoma. I have absolutely buried myself in mud. I tried to walk around the passenger side and I'm sinking down under my body weight in it. It's like never-ending earth, red clay. It's bad. I don't have a winch on this truck. I do have a shovel and traction boards I keep in the back. So it looks like I'm gonna have to dig this bad boy out and put some traction boards in, try and get up into this area, up on the grass maybe, because this here, you can see I don't know if you can see my footprint sinking in, but it's pretty bad, and I have to go straight through this muddy part because going backward is uphill. I'm buried pretty good. So it's been about an hour and a half. Fun factor 0. So I didn't film it because when I took a closer look and I started digging at the tires, it was actually sinking. It was slowly sinking. And this mud up here is red clay. So you get it on the shovel, hit the shovel on the ground, you know, upside down, and the whole thing of mud sticks to the shovel. So I was having to, like, there's a stump over there, I was having to beat it against a stump, and I was sinking down pretty deep. So I got out of the first area, dug. It was worse on the passenger side where I was first stuck. I haven't caught my breath in like an hour. High elevation, you know, it's not just doing the work, I'm at 7,000 feet right here. So went through 2 bottles of water though, so that's good. Hydrate. It was sinking on the passenger side, so I dug a lot there. Traction boards underneath, dug a little bit on the driver, traction boards. I didn't want to risk it. I used all 4. And then was able to pull up and out over those, give it a little bit, not too much. and then I got stuck again. But I stopped, you know, I didn't dig down. That one, it was just a pain because I had to dig up the traction boards from the mud, dig a little bit on each tire, put them in. Got on those, and I got to where I am right now. You can see what I mean. You can see how this mud sticks. It's a big glob that should have rolled off. So the first place I got stuck is up by that stump, right? My back tires were just this side of the snow. And you can see the second place I got stuck, the front wheels were right here. Back wheels. You see the water, look at the animals. Animals are even having a hard time getting through here. Traction boards are over there, the shovel. I gotta clean them off. They weigh like 30 pounds each, and I'm not exaggerating. Did I ever tell you guys I hate mud? Thing was, no one has been down in here. So it just looked like a little snowbank right there, you know? Went right through that, no problem, and just went boom, and just sunk. These Tacomas, they don't like being shifted after the fact, like 4 low, 4 high, 4 low, locker. It's like you need to have all that stuff engaged before. Luckily, I was able to engage whatever I want, but I shut the engine off because I was digging for so long. When I got to this next part, the locker was engaged, so I didn't shut the engine off, because when you turn it off, the locker disengages because it's electric and they're all tied to the ignition, so it disengages. A mechanical. So sometimes you need the wheels just to move a little bit for a locker to engage. And I think on these, you need the truck to be pretty level. I've seen some people on YouTube where they've gotten into kind of a precarious position and they weren't able to engage stuff because they weren't level. So you got to think ahead. I probably should have been, I don't know if I'd have been locked and 4 low, because this is all pretty flat. But yeah, I saw the water. I probably should have known. I'm exhausted, like no joke. This elevation, now you know why fighters and stuff train up at elevation, because it's twice the workout with this thin air. I wanted to go right over there. All those nice trees and all that shade. But you can see how shiny it is leading up there, so I got out and walked it. Yeah, I sunk in right there. This time I thought ahead and walked it. Good thing I did. Man, I've been driving around everywhere trying to find just a place to stop, set up and cook. You know, all the sites are with the good trees, they're kind of in the low areas and a lot of snow built up there. I think I'm still a few weeks early for up here. It's been 4 weeks since I was up here last, but 4 weeks ago, there was like 2 feet of solid ice everywhere, all over the ground. It was in my last video when I had the GX 470 up here. Now, I'm way far back in now, but everywhere I try and go, it's just crazy, like soft, like you're gonna sink. And I always say, everyone always asks me, what's the best first thing I can do to my off-road vehicle? Tires. But there's a little bit of water in the crossings. It's like all the water is settling into the mud, but there's still a little bit of water in the crossings here. See if I get some of the mud off just by splashing that up in the wheel wells. I tell you what, after that, I looked around obviously for some more spots, but the whole area is nowhere near ready to be up there. I had seen, actually, I don't think I mentioned it yesterday, but I seen a lot of people. You know, it's warm now, so everyone's coming out of the woodwork, and so are the flies and bugs and everything, but I still don't understand why people don't go out in the winter. It's so much better. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. So I saw a lot of people out there, and the strange thing, being Saturday, I should have seen a lot of people camping. I actually saw a lot of truck and trailers, like, toy haulers or caravan trailers, bunch of Dodge trucks, of course, or Ram trucks, hauling, it's almost like they went in and they were looking for a spot, and I saw them coming out on Saturday morning. I bet you that's what it is. They saw that it was all... Actually, you almost had to drive in and get stuck unless you stopped and walked in, which I did after the fact. But I saw a fair amount of people driving around, but when I got out into the forested area, I didn't see anyone. They were on the kind of the little small roads, access roads to get in there. Maybe I saw 5-6 trucks kind of driving around, which is, in the wintertime, I see no one. And then I did see 2 different, Ram caravan kind of combos, but they were coming out. And it looked like they were upset, probably because you couldn't pull into any campsite. But man, I tell you, I was torn up the rest of the day. I had a headache. I got a headache, like one of those altitude headaches, because I was working so hard with lack of oxygen. It was not like a painful. It was a numb feeling the rest of the day until pretty late at night. So after that, I finished recording that. I just got out of there. I didn't have any ice or anything to keep the meat cold. So it had been like 4, 5, 6 hours since I threw it in the truck from the store. So yeah, I just got out of there, and I thought, you know what? I haven't driven the Jeep in a while. All I was doing was backing it in and out of the garage. So when I was working on the 80, I needed all the space in the garage. So I thought, I'll come up here locally, which I know the snow has been long gone for a while, and bring the Jeep up and cook the steak here and actually just kind of relax. I'm not even going to do that. I don't even know if I'll do any more off-roading than what it takes for me to get into here and back out of here. Because after the last couple days, I think I've had enough of the off-roading. All right, even though it's 80 degrees out, there's a nice breeze, so I went ahead and made some coffee, but it's not piping hot. I left the lid off so it could escape. So I seared the meat this time, and then slow cooked it and kept it a little bit more rare. You can see. for the sandwich. And I let it sit and rest while I did the bread. Little olive oil on the bread. It's always a good sign when you can just bite right through multiple pieces of meat. You know, they don't pull out of the bread. Man, I crushed both those sandwiches. Well, it's been, for this weekend, this is so fitting. You know, things kind of going crazy. I cooked for 45 minutes, and once I started putting it on the bread, I was so excited to eat, I forgot to put the provolone cheese on. So I just ate it with bread and meat. The good thing about that, and the reason why I'm trying another, like that sweet heat, because I don't put like, I don't know, barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, whatever you would put on something like that. I rely on the steak being really juicy, and then the seasoning of salt and pepper and the other thing. To be honest with you, I didn't really taste anything other than my salt and pepper. And I put a fair amount of that on there. It kind of looks like those things you put on the pizza, you know, the kind of the flaky hot peppers. But it was so funny. I was folding the plate up to throw it away, and I'm like, I forgot to put the provolone cheese on. That's all right. These 3 days this weekend, I mean, when you take a look at it now, relaxed, full belly, it was like, wow, that was pretty amazing adventure, right? Over the 3 days. But at the time, really the only thing that like really sucked, and I think you could see it on my face, was getting the Tacoma stuck in that mud, like right as soon as I got up there. You know, you drive an hour and a half or so, you pull off, and I just went in a couple miles, and it's actually what I was doing. I was going to stop and cook earlier and then off-road after that. I didn't want to off-road around and then cook later in the afternoon. The sun, you know, was perfect with the trees. That was an area that I've cooked before too. And I just dropped in and I buried that sucker. And I mean, it's not like I did. It just got buried. It just sunk in. And those tires are so small. They're these little fellas. I don't even know if I don't think they even measure 31 inch. I mean, physically, most tires don't measure out what they claim to be, but they are small. They're small, so that wasn't fun at all. But Friday was fun with the 80. I'm really happy how that turned out. I mean, I loved how it was before, and making such a kind of a big change with gears. It's not really the end of the world. I mean, I didn't go really far, but at first I was thinking to go like 456, but I'm like, nah, this thing's already kind of a pig. It could use the extra boost from a little bit lower gear. So super happy how that's turned out. And I'm almost, you know, I'm a few more kind of weekend around towns from getting to that 500 miles. I'm actually going to do all the oil. I'll do the front and rear axle. I'll do the transfer case. I will do the transmission. Get it all changed at once. That way I know, probably do the engine oil too. That way I know the date of when everything was done. It's so relaxing. Got the awning out. The temperature is like perfectly 80 degrees. A little tiny breeze. Oh, what a great way to wrap up kind of a crazy weekend. You know, I know this video's, I like these videos. You know, this is kind of a vlog video more than, you know, the other ones where you kind of do the different shots while you're cooking and the drive-by shots and the off-roading and all this stuff. Sometimes, I see some videos on YouTube and I like them. And then I just feel like there's so much staging going on when it comes to videoing an off-road or outdoor adventure. They stage the camera and drive by it. I always hated the camping videos where they were walking or hiking and they kept setting up the camera and they'd walk by it, walk away from it. It always drove me nuts. Once you get like an idea in your head like that, every time you see it, you think, oh, there's some cool shots driving by, but like it's really overdone. And I never do it because I'm too lazy. But you know, the word stage comes to mind when it comes to like those really good production quality videos. Not mine. Sometimes mine. Once in a while, I'll do one of those. I do like doing that. But when that's all you see, it's nice to get back to a vlog style to say, hey, this is what you might do if you went out for a weekend. You know, you might have gone to an area and it'd be kind of decimated by logging. And then you may have gone to an area and got yourself stuck and had to dig it out miserably and get covered in mud. Or you may come up just to relax, cook some food, forget the cheese, and sit up here and actually kind of wind down after the last couple of days. Now, I got a lot of good off-roading in. That's why I'm not really doing any today. But I didn't get, and I got a good sandwich on Friday. But yesterday, in addition to digging myself out, I didn't eat until I got home at like 4:30. And I had left pretty early to go up there. I think I'm not really early, maybe about 7:30. So I didn't eat until 5 all day. And all I had with me was water. Like no Gatorade, no soda, no nothing, just water. And by the time I was getting home, I was feeling it. I was feeling kind of crappy. But it's sharing this type of video with you guys. It is one of my favorites because this is real. I'm not saying the other stuff isn't real, but this is like as real and raw as it gets, right? Because it's vlog style. And I know the vlogs used to be a lot more popular before, and now that really groomed, you know, videos, I think there's a place for both. I love making, because I love filming, right? I really enjoy the filming aspect of it. So I love making those groomed type videos. I really do. But I also like to make these videos. And I just think it's like, hey, I think this is more like you can relate, right? You're like, oh man, Chris, that taco was pretty stuck, or that steak sandwich looked really good, or man, I really wish I could have showed that sandwich on the 80, but I really enjoyed Friday. Even though it's the Friday, each day was so unique. You know, Friday I drove so long, and my final destination before I kind of left the area was going to be where I ate. And when I got there, it was all destroyed. Then the next day, you know, it was like the first place I went to basically destroyed the day. I wasn't going to let it, but I went in farther, and everywhere I went, it was toast, so I left. And then today was just that I'm just going to go in, I'm just going to set up, I'm going to set up the awning, and I'm going to start cooking. And that's what I did. So you take all 3 days, jam them into one experience, and it ends up being really fun. But I'm going to hang out, you guys. I'm going to sign off here, though, because you know me, I'll babble on forever. But hope you guys enjoyed this kind of realistic vlog-style 3-day adventure. Oh, the other thing was each day had a different vehicle. I'm probably going to have to do something about that pretty soon. I'm going to have to kind of minimize the fleet. But I don't know what I want to do. You know, I don't know what I want to do with that. But that'll be future Chris's problem. But for now, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you all next weekend.